Jordan was not a conservative firebrand. She was not a MAGA Republican. She was not a talk radio host. She was a civil rights pioneer, a Democrat, a constitutional lawyer, a constitutional scholar, and one of the most respected Black elected officials America has ever produced. Yet, in the 1990s, Barbara Jordan delivered a message that many Black political leaders today and the Democratic Party refuse to discuss.
This is the Publisher's Desk with Damon K. Jones, brought to you by Black Westchester Magazine, where...
Peace and blessings, everybody. This is Damon K. Jones, and welcome to another edition of the Publisher's Desk, sponsored by Black Westchester Magazine and blackwestchester.com. And for decades, brothers and sisters, Black Americans have been told that opposition to illegal immigration is rooted in racism, xenophobia, or hostility towards immigrants. But what happens when the person making the warning is one of the most respected Black leaders in modern American history? Her name was Barbara Jordan. Jordan was not a conservative firebrand. She was not a MAGA Republican. She was not a talk radio host. She was a civil rights pioneer, a Democrat, a constitutional lawyer, a constitutional scholar, and one of the most respected Black elected officials America has ever produced. Yet, in the 1990s, Barbara Jordan delivered a message that many Black political leaders today and the Democratic Party refuse to discuss.
Matter of immigration back on a civil course. We have got to know that immigration really goes to the heart of who we are as a nation. If we are confident enough as Americans in our culture, we should welcome the legal immigrant. We should be able to accommodate diversity in our society. Are we strong enough to welcome those who ought to be in and retain a commitment to the rule of law by keeping those out who shouldn't get in? If we ought to preserve our immigration tradition and our ability to say yes to the people who want to get in and seek entry, we've got to have the strength to say no to the people who are not supposed to get in. We need to make deportation a part of a credible immigration policy. As a nation committed to immigrants and the rule of law, we've got to do that balancing act. The most urgent immigration problem we face today is the unauthorized entry of hundreds of thousands of illegals. That undermines our commitment to legal immigration. Although the illegal alien may be generally law-abiding, and particularly in good economic times, maybe we need the illegals, their entry in violation of the law is a violation of our national interest. We believe a credible approach to immigration must be comprehensive. First, border management. We support a very simple view about border management: prevent illegal entries, facilitate legal ones. The second part of our strategy: work site enforcement. Employment, we believe, continues to be the principal magnet for illegal aliens coming into the country. As long as U.S. businesses benefit from illegals on their workforce, they are not going to try to help us get on top of the problem. We believe that employer sanctions must be made to work, and enhanced labor standards enforcement essential components of a strategy to reduce the job magnet. The third part of our recommendations, immigrant eligibility for public benefits. That's a major one. The Commission believes that decisions about eligibility should support the objectives of immigration policy. Using these objectives as a measure of benefit policy, we come to the following conclusions. First, legal permanent residents should continue to be eligible for needs-tested assistance programs. Our views on eligibility for benefits of illegal aliens are different from those benefits that are recommended for legal aliens. If an alien is in this country lawfully, he should receive whatever benefits a lawful resident receives. But if a person is here unlawfully, he should be entitled to no benefits. No benefits. Why the distinction between the eligibility of legal aliens and illegals? Illegal aliens don't have the right to be here. They broke the law to get here. They never intended to become a part of our social community, and they are not entitled to benefits. They have no intention to integrate.
She warned that America could not sustain a credible immigration system without enforcing the law. Jordan made it clear that legal immigrants should be welcomed and treated fairly. She believed America was strong enough to embrace diversity and remain a nation of immigrants. But she also argued that the nation had a responsibility to distinguish between legal immigration and illegal immigration. Her position was simple. If we're going to say yes to those who follow the law, we must be willing to say no to those who violate it. Now, that's not anti-immigration. That's not an anti-immigrant position, right? That is the rule of law position. Jordan argued that deportation had to be a part of a credible immigration policy. She argued that employers who hire illegal labor contribute to the problem. She argued that uncontrolled illegal immigration undermines public confidence in legal immigration. Perhaps the most importantly, she argued that public benefits should be reserved for those who are legally present in the country. Her words were direct. If a person is here unlawfully, he should be entitled to no benefits. Today, many politicians would be attacked for making that statement. Barbara Jordan said it while serving as chair of a bipartisan federal immigration commission under Democratic President Bill Clinton. What makes her warning particularly important for Black America is that Jordan understood something many politicians today refuse to acknowledge: the economic competition. When large numbers of low-skilled workers enter the labor markets illegally, competition for jobs increase. When local governments struggle to absorb rapid population growth, pressure is placed on schools, housing, healthcare systems, and public services, as it is today. These realities affect working-class Americans of every race, including Black Americans. Suddenly, cities found funding emergency shelters, food assistance, healthcare service, legal assistance, hotel accommodations, and other support programs. Whether one agrees with those policies or not, many Black Americans are asking a simple question. If the government can move quickly for migrants, why can't it move quickly for the citizens who have lived in these communities for generations? See, this is where Barbara Jordan's warning became, brothers and sisters, here's where Barbara Jordan's warning becomes even more relevant. Jordan understood that immigration policy must serve the national interest. She understood that public confidence breaks down when people believe the government is prioritizing newcomers while long-standing problems affecting Black Americans and its citizens remain unsolved. This is the argument you see going on in many of the blue states. This is the argument you're seeing happen now publicly, right over there with my sisters, Chicago flips red.
Mayor Johnson, Governor Pritzker are spending hundreds of millions of dollars on illegal aliens, while regular Chicagoans struggle. Schools are crowded, crime keep rising, and families can't afford food or rent. Yet our leaders still put illegal aliens first. Over 56,000 illegal aliens are living in Chicago homes, while our veterans and homeless sleep outside. Cartel gangs like MS-13, Trendy Agua now have presence in our city. Fentanyl, guns, and human trafficking are flowing through neighborhoods that used to be filled with working families. ICE tries to stop this, but the judges, the Illinois Attorney General, the Chicago's Teachers Union, certain clergy members, the mayor, and the governor block them every step of the way. This is not compassion, this is failure. This is a betrayal of the people they were elected to protect. Chicago is broke. We're in a $1 billion deficit, overpriced contracts, and shrinking middle class.
The issue is not whether migrants should be treated humanely. Absolutely not. The issue is whether elected officials have shown the same urgency toward the needs of struggling Black communities, which they have not. When Black neighborhoods have suffered from failing schools for 4 decades, residents notice when government suddenly finds funds and resources for other priorities. When young Black men cannot find jobs, they notice when employers seek cheaper labor. When Black families can't afford housing, they notice when housing resources become even more strained. And then they notice when migrants get new housing, while Black families that been their generation is still being housed in the same broken down housing. Barbara Jordan warned that immigration policy requires balance. She warned that a nation committed to legal immigration also uphold the rule of law and protect its own national interests.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. So, Mayor Adams, you've agreed today. Sorry, over here. You've agreed today that New York City is a sanctuary city. Is that right?
Based on the definitions, and it doesn't seem, Congressman, but there's now a uniform definition of that, but yes.
Right, but that's what you've proclaimed. Mayor Johnston, you've previously also declared that you're a sanctuary city. Mayor Johnson, you said that Chicago must lead with and live by the promise to be a sanctuary city. Mayor Wu, you said Boston Police and other departments cannot cooperate with ICE when it comes to detaining on civil warrants. Of course, I don't know what Mayor Johnston would define it, but I do know that the Honorable Mayor Johnson from Chicago, they call theirs a welcoming city ordinance, and we've got Ms. Wu, Mayor Wu, who's referred to hers as a safe city. That's really interesting to me. So when you are a sanctuary city, you put limits on how much you're willing to cooperate with federal agencies' efforts to remove illegal aliens. And your policies are then contravene federal law. You just do. Under Title VIII of the U.S. Code, it says a federal, state, or local government entity or official may not prohibit or in any way restrict any government entity or official from sending to or receiving from the Immigration Naturalization Service any information regarding, information regarding the citizenship or immigration status of any individual. Yeah, so when I look at your guys' ordinances, and I got them all up here, and they're really interesting stuff, and Denver, I think you testified previously that you rely on the statutory section, am I right, of the state statute. So let's just review this. There is a distinction, and some of you have made that. Mayor Johnson of Chicago made this repeatedly, and Mayor Wu of Boston did. There's a distinction between criminal warrant, and you say we cooperate on criminal warrant, but there's two levels of cooperation at least. There's a communication level, and there's a passing the person off. That's one level with the criminal. But the civil level, this is what I want to talk about for a second, because all of these ordinances proscribe communication and transfer of someone where there's a civil warrant. Now, I know that all of you understand that a removal order is a civil order. And that means none of you and none of your agencies within your municipalities are communicating or passing over someone where there's a ICE removal detainer. So I don't care how many times, 1,226 or whatever it was in 7 years, I don't care how many times you do it, but if you're not doing it for civil orders, then you're allowing people who have a removal order, who've had due process, because that's how you get a removal order. You're allowing them to stay in the country. You're in violation of this law right here. You are. You're in violation of that law right there. And you've got to start realizing what your criminal culpability is on that. And that's really what we're talking about here. So you don't think that's harboring, perhaps? But let's take a look at that next statute, please. That next federal statute. In conducting investigations and hearings, immigration officers and administrative law judges shall have reasonable access to examine evidence of any person or entity being investigated. If you're holding someone back, even if it's under a civil warrant, because that's what you said you're not going to participate in, and you are preventing access to that person or evidence, you're in violation of this. You have criminal culpability under this. And you'll notice there's no mens rea requirement here. This is it. Every one of you is exposed to criminal culpability here. That's the reality of it. Let's do the next one. Any person who knowing that a person is an alien, knowing or in reckless disregard, now you got a culpable mental state here, of the fact that an alien has come to, entered, or remains in the United States in violation of law, conceals, harbors, or shields from detection, or attempts to conceal, harbor, or shield from detection, such alien in any place. You'll notice it doesn't make a distinction that all of y'all want to make of criminal warrants versus civil. You're all in violation of all three of these statutes. You got criminal culpability. I yield back.
Gentleman yields back. Chair.
Jordan's concerns was not race, it was outcomes. Would immigration policy serve the nation's interests? Would the law be enforced? Would legal immigrants be respected? Would American workers be protected? These were questions she believed policymakers should answer. Instead of debating those questions honestly, what have Americans done? They chose slogans over substance. See, anyone now who raised concerns about illegal immigration is frequently labeled anti-immigrant. And Jordan specifically warned against that type of hyperbole. She argued that both sides of the debate was inflaming public opinion rather than seeking practical solutions. And that's what we are living in today. Nearly 3 decades later, many of the issues Jordan discussed remained unresolved. Border security remained a national controversy. Employer enforcement remains inconsistent. Public benefits eligibility remains a source of political conflict. Communities across the country continue to debate economic and social consequences of large-scale illegal immigration. To the point that politicians like AOC would say illegal immigration is not illegal.
Legal asylees are not charged with any crime.
When you enter the country illegally, it's violation 8 United States Code 1325.
Seeking asylum is legal.
If you want to seek asylum and go through the port of entry, do it the legal way. The Attorney General of the United States has made that clear.
Okay.
And it's remarkable, brothers and sisters, that one of the strongest voices that has called for balance, enforcement, and fairness was a Black Democratic civil rights icon. Barbara Jordan believed America could be both compassionate and lawful. She believed America could welcome legal immigrants while enforcing immigration laws. She believed America could preserve its tradition as a nation that welcomed immigrants without abandoning the rule of law. The question for Black America today is simple. Why are so many of our political leaders ignoring the warning Barbara Jordan gave years ago? Because whether you agree with her or disagree with her, one thing is certain. Barbara Jordan understood that a nation that cannot enforce its laws eventually loses the ability to decide its future. And that's a conversation Black America can no longer avoid. Now tell me what you think. How should Black America respond? How should Black America respond? Are we going to be silent about how the immigration policies have affected Black neighborhoods? Are we not going to voice our opinion to our Black leadership that we see them fighting harder for migrants than fighting for our communities? See, brothers and sisters, you got to understand, we at the bottom, Black folks. We are clearly at the bottom. People like Dr. Claude Anderson warned us decades ago that unchecked immigration policies will definitely affect Black America.
Have an unending influx of immigrants into the country. And that's what Dr. Price is talking about. And nobody, no Black politician, no Black organization wants to deal with that issue. They will avoid it at all costs. Even though in their hearts they know that's one of the biggest problems for Black folk. We anticipate in the next 10 to 12 years approximately 8 to 6 million Hispanics coming into the United States and 41 million Asians. You have been the majority minority for 400 years in this country. You have been the number 2 population for 400 years. You're going to get kicked out of being number 2. You're going to go down and become number 4. Now, common sense, even a third grade education would tell you, if you didn't get anything when you were number 2, yeah. You all jumped ahead of me, but anyway, you can guess what you're going to get when you become number 4. And the worst part about it is as you descend and go down to number 4, those other groups are going to go up. And as they go past you, you're going to have major racial clashes in this country. You're going to have fights all over this country between Blacks and Hispanics, Blacks and Asians, Blacks and poor whites. And Black folk cannot fight all these groups. Everybody can not always be against Black folk.
See, we have to have a different relationship with these political parties. Ain't about left or right. It's about our interests. Because our interests have been ignored, we have allowed a lot of these liberals to rewrite Black history right in front of our face. Like AOC is going across the nation, bastardizing Black history and bastardizing our struggle, and nobody's calling her on it. And then when the opposition attacks her because she's not talking the truth of our struggle, it makes us look bad. Like, I really don't understand that. How our so-called Black scholars is not calling her out publicly on it. It just shows me that these Black civil rights leaders are bought and sold. if you're not checking her, they have the last 10 years. Let me explain something so y'all understand what I'm saying. The last 10 years, brothers and sisters, they have rewrote our history, and they allowed the oppressor to even say slavery wasn't even what it was. Do you see what this party is doing to you? Because you're afraid to stand up? It's like our struggle was a joke. You got some fools on social media even saying, well, you know what? Not that only a few people died in slavery. There was only a few amount of slaves. There wasn't a lot of slaves. Are you kidding me? This is what they're saying in response to the foolishness that we're allowing a white woman to say and pimp our history. And nobody's saying anything. Nobody's correcting them. And then that allowed these ignorant young blacks, these redneck blacks, to follow suit. To say that even black people say we don't deserve reparations. But they don't say that to the people with the blue beanie hats on them. Y'all know what I'm talking about. They don't say that to the Chinese that received reparations, to the Indians. They only say it to black people because we allowed them to bastardize our history and our struggle and what we went through. And they have literally taken our struggle through the civil rights movement. They didn't take it away from us and saying that they're for immigrants. And this is the problem with Black America, because no self-respecting person will allow another person to snatch their struggle away from them. And we have to begin to push back. We have to teach our children to push back on this foolishness. Every time AOC makes a statement, she needs to be corrected in her foolishness. You make a mistake in public, you get corrected in public. She is not the spokesperson for Black America. She should shut up when talking about black people. She does not qualify. What does she know about the black struggle? She ain't black, and she ain't married to no black man. She's married to a white man. This is not about racism, because you don't see black people talking about Italian history. You don't see black people talking about Spanish history. You don't see black people talking about representing the Jewish people in their history, or the Asian people. So what gives you the privilege, AOC, to represent our people? You have no clue what you're talking about. See, and then you get on these white shows and you talk that mess. You don't come on no black show and say no foolishness like that, because you're going to get checked. We have to do better, black people. God is trying to tell us something. We have to step up. Pharaoh has let us go, but our leaders is trying to bring us back into Egypt when God has promised us freedom. With our $2.6 trillion in spending power. And with all our degrees in education, we still haven't even figured out how to put that to use and to be independent from this system, like many other ethnic groups are. You don't even hear from the East Indian people, and they're independent. The migrants come here, they just got here yesterday. And what do? They get one house. Next thing you know, they got another house. Next thing you know, they got a house with a storefront. And then all of them are purchasing from that store, pooling their money. And within 10 years, they own the whole damn block. While black people are still renting and buying Mercedes Benzes and red bottom shoes and Gucci bags and all this other BS. And we've been here, we've been here all this time. We could do it. We know how to do it. In my book, The Forgotten Blueprint, How Black America Built Its Own Economy Between 1800 and 1965. We did it. We had our own economy. And then what happened? Integration happened. And we let our black economy go because we just wanted to be close to the white man. And he has capitalized on our foolishness ever since. You can get this book. It's on Amazon or twosteppublishing.com. And it teaches us that we had everything in the worst conditions. Now we're living in better conditions and we have more spending power, but we don't have the mindset. We have a slave mindset to white liberalism because we just want to be part of the white man. And this is not racism, this is just our mindset. We just want to be close to the white man. That's all. And he knows that, and he loves it. He's not going to get rid of us. White man ain't throwing away $2.6 trillion because that's what we spend with them. So they're not going to get rid of foolish black people. Absolutely not. Before I close, I want to challenge Black America with something bigger than immigration. This is about learning to think for ourselves. For too long, many of us have allowed political gatekeepers, media personalities, activists, and professional race leaders to tell us what we are supposed to think before ever examining the facts for ourselves. See, Barbara Jordan is the perfect example. How many Black Americans know what she actually said about immigration? How many have heard her full speech? How many have read her commission's recommendations? Just a very few. Instead, many people rely on narratives handed to them by others. And the scriptures warned us, brothers and sisters, in Proverbs 14:15. It says, the simple belief every word, but the prudent man looketh well to his going. We have to be prudent, Black America, because the prudent man investigates. The prudent man questions. The prudent man does not surrender his mind to political parties, television personalities, comedians, media influencers, or gatekeepers. One of the greatest dangers facing Black America today is not racism, it's intellectual dependency. It is the belief that someone else should do our thinking for us. Barbara Jordan's words challenges that dependency because one of the most respected Black Democrats in American history can hold views that many of today's gatekeepers and Black politicians and party leaders refuse to discuss. Then perhaps the problem is not the facts. The problem is the narrative. The gatekeepers want Black America to be focused on emotions. They want us focused on slogans. They want us arguing over personalities. The mature people in Black America is focused on outcomes. Are our schools improving? Are our communities safer? Are more Black families becoming homeowners? Are our children succeeding? Are we building wealth? Are we stronger than we were 10 years ago? See, those questions matter. And the scriptures tell us in Hosea 4:6, my people are destroyed for the lack of knowledge. Notice it doesn't say destroyed for the lack of passion. It doesn't say destroyed for the lack of slogans and hashtags and social media posts. It says we're destroyed because we lack of knowledge. Knowledge requires investigation, brothers and sisters. Knowledge requires independent thinking. Knowledge requires courage, the courage to question your own side, the courage to challenge acceptive narrative, the courage to follow the facts wherever they lead. That is what Barbara Jordan did, and that is what Black America must do. The future of our community will not be built on political loyalty. It will not be rebuilt on repeating talking points. It will not be built on blindly trusting gatekeepers black politicians and white liberals who profit from keeping us independent. It will be built on informed citizens who think for themselves, who hold leaders accountable, who build institutions, who strengthen families, who pursue ownership, who place their trust in God above this foolish politics. The scriptures warn us in Psalm 11:18:8, it's better to trust in the Lord than put your confidence in man. Not Democrats, not Republicans, not media personalities, not these foolish gatekeepers, not these ignorant influence. Put your trust in God. Barbara Jordan's warning is ultimately a reminder that every generation must learn to think for themselves. The question is whether Black America is ready to do that now. Will you think for yourself? Will you study for yourself? Will you build for yourself? And will you pray for wisdom? And don't let nobody do the thinking for you. It's time for us to think for ourselves and do for ourselves, brothers and sisters. And if you agree, like. If you don't, comment. Let's have this conversation. And if you've been following me, please, you know, I try to respond to the comment, like it, or if I try to respond to all the comments that's on the page. And please follow, please share. We must start having these conversations. And please sign up and get the free ebook. Just an email, so we could keep you informed with what's going on from Black Westchester Magazine and blackwestchester.com. And go over to the page and check us out. And if you haven't liked or subscribed to our channel, please do. We gotta make the algorithm work for us, Black America, because now's the time for us to come together. Thank you again. And as always, stay safe, stay blessed, and stay blacktastic. Peace out.
Black America, political loyalty without results is not power. Sign up and get your free ebook by Damon K. Jones. A seat at the table is not power. Building the table is. This book exposes how political dependence weakened our communities and lays out a blueprint for Black economic, political, and institutional sovereignty. If you're ready to move from symbolism to ownership, this is for you. Download it free today. Follow Damon K. Jones on YouTube and stay connected to empowering conversations that challenge the mind, strengthen the spirit, and uplift the community. Subscribe to Black Westchester YouTube and at Damon Jones on YouTube for powerful content on life, culture, community, faith, politics, health, and truth that makes you think for yourself. If you're serious about political clarity and independent thinking, this is for you. The Political Thought Bundle includes 3 full books, all personally singling. Democrats and Republicans, the ultimate gangbangers, breaks down how the two-party system operates like a legalized street war for power. Emotional Politics, Logical Failure exposes how emotion has replaced strategy in Black political engagement. Tolerance is for Cowards lays out a blueprint for extended policing and community-led public safety rooted in outcomes rather than slogans. 3 signed books. One bundle, $60. That's a $75 value, and you're getting signed copies included. This isn't left versus right. It's results versus rhetoric. Go to twosteppublishing.com and secure your signed Political Thought Bundle today. It's going to be blacktastic. For more than a century, Black America built its own economy under segregation, under discrimination, and under conditions most people today cannot imagine. We built businesses. We built banks. We bought land and property. In the Forgotten Blueprint, Damon K. Jones reveals how Black communities created thriving economic systems from 1800 to 1965, and why that blueprint still matters today. This book challenges the idea that our future depends on politics alone and shows how ownership, family, and enterprise once powered Black prosperity. The blueprint is not lost. We just stopped using it. The Forgotten Blueprint, how Black America built its own economy from 1800 to 1965. On sale now at Two Step Publishing and Amazon. Black Westchester Magazine has been giving our community a voice, reporting the stories others ignore, holding power accountable, and making sure the truth about our communities is told by us. But independent Black media only survives when the community supports it. If you believe in real journalism, community accountability, and keeping Black voices strong in local news, we need your help. Your donation helps us continue covering the stories that matter: politics, education, justice, and economic empowerment right here in Westchester. Support Black media, support Black truth, support Black Westchester Magazine. Donate today and help keep Black media alive. Because Black-owned independent media is Blacktastic. Black Westchester Magazine presents People Before Politics, the Sunday Rundown, every Sunday at 6 p.m. on YouTube. Join Damon K. Jones, A.J. Woodson, and Larnez Kinsey as they break down the biggest stories in politics, culture, and community from a Black point of view. No spin, no party loyalty, just logic, accountability, and outcomes. If it impacts Black America, we're talking about it. Tap in, subscribe, set your reminder. This Sunday at 6 p.m. is going to be Blacktastic.
This is the Publisher's Desk with Damon K. Jones, brought to you by Black Westchester Magazine, where life, culture, community, and faith meet truth, power, and purpose.